It is extremely disappointing to see that Facebook continues to refuse to accept its responsibility towards our democracies by refusing to pay the fair share for Canadians to get local news and independent, rigorous journalistic content. Their decision to walk away rather than engage constructively is disappointing.
Facebook versus the feds. The prime minister there drawing battle lines as the social media giant's parent company Meta announced all Canadian news will be blocked from its platforms in response to the government's Online News Act, which passed Parliament last week. The new law essentially forces companies like Google and Meta, which owns Facebook, to negotiate deals to pay Canadian media companies for the content they link to and preview on their websites and platforms, and that would include CTV News, which is a division of Bell Media. Let's bring back the front bench to talk about this. Stephen McNeil, Gary Marr, Guratan Singh, and Rachel Aiello. Rachel, I'm going to start with you. You're like our resident C-18, as it's known, expert here. What is behind this standoff between Meta and the federal government?
So it sounds like it's got to the place where they tried to have conversations and they really didn't get anywhere. They tried to push for the bill to be amended and it didn't work out for them. But we're basically in a situation now where this is pushing ahead. The Senate has put a quicker timeline on this, and they have said, Meta has said, we're standing our ground and we are not going to be allowing news coverage through our platforms. And the federal government is trying to make the case, and they made this through committee process as well, that what we're talking about here for these platforms is like a few $100 million annually divided amongst them, which when you look at, to you and I, that's a lot of money, but to these companies, that is really not. And so they are wondering why these companies aren't seeing the need to invest in content they are using from news organizations every day on their platform. And I'll be curious to see where we go from here. In Australia, they were able to negotiate some deal and the news access was allowed. So far, it doesn't seem that either side is budging in this. And so I think, unfortunately, it's a game of chicken, and Canadians' access to news information on these platforms is what's in the middle, and I think that's pretty unfortunate.
What do you think strategically is in it for the government here, specifically rather, Guratan? And I asked because I was listening to the Prime Minister there, and I had this flashback to a press conference he held a little while ago, maybe over a month ago, in which he wasn't even asked about Google's experiment to block some news, and he just started talking about he clearly wanted to be public about his comments on this. What is in it for the government to take on big social media companies?
Well, I think there's pretty much a pretty clear consensus amongst the Liberals and the NDP, and that these tech companies should be paying for the usage of news agencies across Canada that are, frankly, we all know, in the changing demographics and the changing evolution of our whole way we consume content, that they're struggling right now. So I think a portion of what the Prime Minister wants to see is probably more revenue generated for these news agencies, which we know are essential for our democracy. And I think that's probably the main focus here, to probably bring in that attention and that funding to an area that needs it.
Is it a slippery slope, though, Gary? I mean, I know the criticism from the Conservatives has been, this is a lot of government intervention, and they will accuse the government of wanting to manipulate the kinds of content that Canadians see vis-a-vis bills like this one and C-11. The government refutes that characterization, but it's certainly been a very distinct one that the Conservatives have put out there for a number of months now.
Well, I think the important issue is to identify the difference between Canada and Australia. I can understand why Meta would take the strong position that they did, because they don't want to be on the slippery slope where they're going to have to be dealing with a whole host of other countries that might decide to do the same thing as Australia and Canada has. But to me, the big difference is that in the United States, this is our biggest trading partner, and you'll have the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Meta going to Congress and their representatives and saying, you've got to stop this, and if they don't, then you need to invoke a trade retaliation against Canada. That's the greater risk for, as you say, this game of chicken that's being played, which neither side wants to back down. But that is the big difference, I think, between Canada's circumstance and the one in Australia.
Yeah, in Australia, it appears, Stephen, that Facebook was able to basically reach a deal with many news organizations. And now they say that within the parameters of C-18, they don't feel like that would be possible. And so they're going to go ahead with blocking the deal. The government says, oh, we still think maybe something can be had. But like Rachel pointed out, it seems very much all at an impasse at the moment.
Well, listen, I understand the principle of what the federal government is trying to do. They're trying to ensure that original content of news that is being developed and delivered by news agencies across our country, that they're getting some recognition and, quite frankly, some revenue for it. The question becomes is how do you implement that? How do you ensure that even if we get able to get an agreement like they did in Australia, how do we ensure that that revenue ends up back into our news agencies across the country? To stabilize them, so to speak. It's always good if people are continuing to talk. I think what we should be worried about is the fact that they've moved away from even talking now. And I don't know how you get a deal from there. I think Rachel just said it's in the Senate now. Maybe the Senate can actually do what it's intended to do as opposed to oppose legislation, maybe help adjust legislation. And the Senate of Canada can actually have an important role to play in this. When it comes to finding what could be middle ground for the government and industry in terms of making sure they get this thing settled.
That's what's so interesting about the politics around this, and even C-11, though, as well, Rachel. Like the minister, Pablo Rodriguez, who oversees the files, is pretty dug in and was in both instances, because the Senate also tried, C-11 was in there forever, right? The Senate tried to make some substantial changes, any ones of substance. I remember interviewing him, and he's like, if it substantially changes the bill, then it's not going to happen. And I have the impression that the same will be true here.
Yeah, so this bill has now passed, so that opportunity is gone, and now we're into a conversation of would they repeal it or amend it in a new bill. But certainly, I think when you talk to him and people in his office, the indication is that they genuinely think that they are trying to help the news industry. And you know, journalists bristle every time you hear the Liberals talk about wanting to support journalism, because we've seen the knock-on effects of some of their subsidies for newspapers coming back on, you know, all of us getting branded liberal media, things like that. It's a slippery slope. I can see where they're coming from. And I think they are watching the landscape, watching kind of the state of journalism and political discourse, democracy online, and feeling some level of responsibility to try to listen to news organizations and get this right and try to adapt to this new digital environment. And I'm very curious where this goes from here, Vassy, because the next bill that we're expecting in the fall is the online harms legislation, which was also going to have knock-on impacts for social media companies. So if the well is already kind of tainted between Pablo and these social media giants, is the Prime Minister considering that heading into this potential shuffle we're talking about?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, I'm going to leave our discussion there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for a great season and lots of great discussions. Really appreciate your time throughout. Stephen McNeil, Gary Marr, Guratan Singh, and Rachel